ARP said, Wayne, when you do this process, starting off with the BRICS, and then down to the intake, he was like, make sure it's exclusive. Everybody can't be a part of this. This is what, and I said that earlier, this is what RBE has been based on for years. It has to be exclusive. So yeah, when like just kind of saying what you're saying, you had to choose to be here. It wasn't something because, like
Facts.
I said, somebody had told Quad out when we were in Atlanta. They had a problem with me or whatever, and one of the things the person said, yeah, she's stealing talent. I'm what? How? Please explain. Show me how. When? When I started this, you had to come to me. And that wasn't me being arrogant. That was me saying, listen, if this person wants to be here, and those questions were asked. Hey, are you doing the crucible? Are you committed to something else? If you were committed to something else, listen, finish that off. If you don't get what you're looking for there, by all means, I don't mind you coming over here, but at the same time, you cannot do, I was very adamant about that. You
That's a
cannot do
fact.
both processes. And I was
Facts.
very transparent about it. There was no lies there. Nah, in that instance, you cannot do both because that fucks up the scheduling, but for both sides. The
But
problem with
that's like me trying to work at two car dealerships at the same time. Nigga, you just
listen,
can't
and,
go. You
and
can't
I'm
go.
telling you,
The fuck?
with who I work for right now, there's a moonlighting clause.
Oh
I can't
God.
work in the same industry
Hey,
that I can't get another job in the same
Exactly.
industry that
hey,
I'm
That's
in.
competition, nigga.
That is
Absolutely.
competition.
yep.
And they also feel like this is not just battle rap. Anybody who works in corporate fucking America that have those type of jobs
It's
understand
business.
when it is business. They are afraid that you will go take their secrets. Listen, let me tell you something. Like I told you, I'm a business major. If you know the history of Coca-Cola and Pepsi, niggas that died behind Coca-Cola
Boy,
and
what?
Pepsi.
That's a
Them
No,
fact.
niggas
that's a
was
real
What?
thing.
taking I was
I
on a
actually
when
Talk
worked
I
at
that.
worked
Coca
for the
Cola.
Better Business Bureau, I was on an ad review commission that was governed by the Consumer Affairs. I didn't realize how big of a deal the ad review commission had, and when it was started. It's a 100-year-old commission. It was started and founded based off the guidelines, advertising, promotion, and business ethics of Coca-Cola and goddamn Pepsi. Them
No, I'm not
niggas
gonna lie.
was wilding. I
That
just
they was like the mob. Them niggas was
they
like the
was
mob, bro.
Bro,
Oh God.
it
niggas
damn
was
near still is for real. I used to
niggas
work
was
at
Oh
Coke.
God.
taking
Talk that.
secrets. Niggas was taking secrets over from Coca-Cola and Pepsi. If
That's
y'all
like
remember,
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That's a
No,
fact.
that's
nigga,
real shit. Look,
They
bro,
was
shut up,
stealing. That's why he
Spill.
started fucking with the Oompa Loompas. They was stealing the man recipes and shit.
shut your ass up.
Spills.
Who you talking
I'ma
about? The
drop
cute little
you.
arrogant
Yeah,
Oompa
them
Loompas?
I'ma
You're an
niggas.
send
idiot.
your ass to the
Um,
store.
My,
Talk about the
please,
I
fucking
was
Charlie
serious,
Said
bro.
still
chocolate
name
factory.
recipes.
please.
Boy
Like the
said
cute.
planked them with the secret formula.
Good
That's
morning,
crazy.
y'all.
Fuck out of here.
Good
I was
morning.
dead ass
But no,
serious.
no,
That's what make
seriously,
it crazy.
seriously, that was a real thing. If
It
y'all
still
go
is.
back and watch the history of that, what all in Tide, if you remember Burger King and McDonald's, like these niggas was taking shots. I don't know if y'all remember a company called, and they only, I don't think they have actual, well, I think they still have them in Seattle. Seattle's Best Coffee and Starbucks. Starbucks wasn't as big as Starbucks became
Facts.
CVS and
That's a
goddamn
fact.
Walgreens. Do y'all not know these niggas go to war?
Bro,
They go to war.
they
Like,
purposely build their stores across the street from each other.
yes,
Right.
if that ain't
Facts.
no,
It's all
hey,
about
we
the
on the
So
competition
what?
of
corner.
business.
Fuck
They in
you niggas. We
cahoots.
taking y'all corners. You got one CVS to three goddamn Walgreens.
I
Like
promise
y'all
you.
gotta know that what I do, and unfortunately, because battle rap is really not used to that conforming. It's been so raw. If I'm doing this job, as I said, and I got that blessing from ARP and Lawrence. I can't work with this many people and I don't have standards and guidelines. There's no way. Norbs, it would to me was one of the best in the building. And like I said, this is somebody that even after he left URL, there were things that I talked to him about that I soaked up the game. EJ is a very good friend of Norbs as well. Like there are things that with these people, I've rubbed shoulders with them, and I didn't expect to be in this position. But if I'm a woman in this position, I know how people handle me when I was just in media. You understand? It's the oh cutie. Even with that, when y'all come in here and y'all address me certain ways in the inbox, hey sweetie, how you doing? My name is Wayne.
Swear to God, never gonna forget
Oh
that.
God.
Okay, I'm
I
so
It
tell
was
you one thing.
serious.
I tell
even when
hey
it's
Wayne,
unintentional.
hey
Even when it's
Wayne,
unintentional, that
hey
shit get
Wayne,
checked
hey
at the
Wayne.
door, nigga.
It gets
I tell
checked.
you.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I was just gonna say, speaking on, I'll tell you one thing. Norbs won't. And that was a damn babysitter. He want no
Thank you.
motherfucking babysitter, bro.
Thank
I'll tell
you.
you that much.
As
He'll
I
That's
tell
part
you
of the
quick.
told,
business.
He'll
as
tell
I
you quick.
told Tony,
He'll tell you these niggas grown. These is grown men.
Yep.
and that is exactly what he told me. And I
Oh
keep
God.
using that example with the interview that I did with him and debacle Summer Madness in Vegas. That was, Smack was even emotional. And I felt that when I can't eat that. Of course that became a meme, but that's the problem with the
I still
battle
use it.
rappers. If y'all are not knowledgeable about the business, y'all don't care. I've seen comments, well, the battler's job is just to come and rap. If you are contracted on any job, that's just your job is to come and do your
For the
job.
business.
There's no elements to what your job duties are. You're a representative of that company. When people who are military contractors, them niggas don't just come and do a job. You sign in, you make sure your ass, they check your shit, they make sure that you stay over here. There are rules to anything in life. We're not even fit to do that. And the fact that you will say that somebody's on a power trip because I have rules, you didn't have to come into the BRICC process. You didn't have to come into the intake process because those rules are going to be enforced. They are. And it's just certain things that we cannot allow. People have sat here and lied on other people. Those are the things inside that we don't talk about. Like Tony and them was saying last night. Well, why does it seem like this is happening now? Y'all don't understand. This has been happening for the last 3 years. This is why we have a season 2 BRICS. This is why we have an intake now. And we stop letting people just directly into the brick house. The intake aren't lesser than. There's some people in the intake that might be better battle rappers than the people that are in the brick house. It just so happened that them people in the brick house got in the brick house outside of the B1s and Dollar and who else is now and Murda. There are people who started with this process that came in through 1SKs that we did on the main stage. We took the 1SKs off the main stage. ARP gave me an idea about making a mass 1SK, and here we have the intake. We just took off the 1SK part of it. It's just the intake. That's what we mostly call it.
You
But
know
people
what?
who
You know
have
what,
not
Wayne?
paid attention to that journey don't know that. They're coming in on the ass end of things, and they don't know that.
And you know what, Wayne? Every coin has two sides, right? Watch this. With that, you also that goes with betting on yourself, investing in yourself, because with that you have to be willing to put something of your own up. You're not going to just you're not going this and Wayne just putting it all out there. You're not investing in anything. You have to be willing. I told him whatever side I ended up on. Remember, Wayne? I made it clear. I
Yeah.
made it clear that what I would have to do if I didn't perform to what I knew I had to do. I knew I would have to go to the intake, and I said whatever side I end up on. I said it.
And I said, ain't no fucking way, bitch. You better win.
Yep, yep. I said it. You
But
had to
he
be.
didn't
You had to bet
win,
as well.
and
Yeah.
it was a general
That's your opinion.
consensus. He was a general consensus that nah, Dollar is built like that, and if like I said, intake said if y'all make him a brick, we ain't mad at that. The brick said nah, that man a brick, and that's even why Breed came to me and said nah,
Yeah.
my next battle needs to be because it was asked. Well, Breed is one of them people that need to be leveled up. Breed came to me and said his next battle he wanted Dollar. He got to have Dollar. That showed me the art of war, the art of competition. No, I want to battle the best in what I'm doing right now because that's how, like I said, we are looking at things from y'all are looking at the messenger because you feel as though you don't like me, but you're seeing a representation of right now things that are being put out there and the narrative that's being painted. All this, it's just interesting that one of those people, all this time, this motherfucker has been put on a pedestal, and now all of a sudden we mad about shit. Stop that shit. Motherfuckers is talking about the wins and losses don't matter with your stock. But this is why when battles start happening, all of a sudden we being shunned because, oh, y'all put her out there too quick. Y'all, she wasn't like that. I'm talking to this motherfucker about, wait, ain't Peaches up here? The lady BRICC, of course, she wasn't in the interview with me, but Peaches,
Yes, ma'am.
how many talks have we had about this?
Oh my gosh. Uh, several, several talks.
Collectively and individually.
It wasn't like a one and done. This is something like a person was given a like chance after chance after chance, and it just kept going. Like it never got any better.
It was said that if Wing don't like you, you don't do what she say. Uh, what you'll be cut off. Now let me address that because, like I told Tony and him, I was kind of upset about that. The statement that I will stop your movement or I'll stop. What was it? I'll stop.
Basically, like you will stop them from getting booked and things like that.
How am I going to stop you from being booked? In that particular instance, you losing battles. I don't care. The problem is if you even listen to the answers. My stock, she didn't feel like her stock was dropping because she's looking at the fact of the people who fuck with her. But it was just the other week before that, it was going into the Gwitty battle. It was, oh my God, she had a whole fucking nervous breakdown. If we just gonna
It was
be
all
honest.
good just a week
hmm
ago.
EJ,
hmm
EJ might not be able to talk.
About a week ago.
You know what I mean? The thumbs up.
Yep.
This is something that I've been dealing with. This is somebody that most of y'all, and I said this earlier, most of y'all saw that, and it was like that because she was the first. She was the face. And so, yeah, that closeness in, as Def said, I was a babysitter. I probably shouldn't have done that with a lot of people, but these were Breed and all of them. We were trying to build something. So the closeness that we had, it had to be. I was on top of their heads with everything.
Thanks.
It was cool when I'm the drill sergeant trying to build you, but then when you don't like what I'm saying, it's a problem.
Gotta
Like
take
that's
the good with the
crazy to
bad.
me. Yeah, you can't pick and choose when you don't like something because it's not beneficial to you.
That's a
And the
fact.
fact that motherfuckers wasn't trying to see that was a problem. Motherfuckers trying to bring my personal and this and that and the other. When people was doing that, when it was me and her and they was mad because they felt like she was getting opportunities that they should have had, motherfuckers came against me with the personal then. That's niggas that got cut off of that. They wasn't running around here trying to go crazy on me. Some tried.
hmm
Some did try. But see, that was my thing. People that weren't here, that wasn't seeing this, that didn't know that, and it was also stuff that we didn't talk about. Now all of a sudden, you on the other side of the coin, we got other women that are doing great work. We supposed to just stay with this one? We got to level up these other ones because guess what? These women in battle rap, these female battle rappers are measuring their talent by yours. Again, these ain't conversations that were had individually just with her. They were having with the group of women. Because what I don't like is for a motherfucker to go back and try, which was being done also, try and go back and woe is me, Winged is being mean to me. And now the ladies have an attitude because that's one thing here. The people, the ones that are being leveled up, we support that person. We lift that person or those people up because they know it's timing. My time is going to come. So as soon as my time comes, they're going to lift me up. We get fully behind, pause if need be, we get fully behind who is being built at that time. That's been the model here from the beginning. Some don't cut the mustard. As I said, Larry Bull was the first one to be cut early. And he was a pivotal top five a pillar in this movement. That man 70 was out of this world. He was who he was at home, but he couldn't cut the mustard on RBE, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he had one of the worst battles against Cav. And ARP and Lawrence was just like, mm-mm. I fought to keep that man here. I really did. Breed even tried to keep him here, get spin the block after a year or so. You know what I mean? We fight for our people, but y'all don't see that. That's the fucked up part about it. Motherfuckers can nobody like that's the work. That's the worst thing that you can try to put on my name because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me.
I gotta be honest.
Nobody's fighting for motherfuckers the way that I am.
I have to part way disagree with that. It's not that nobody sees it. It's just that they don't acknowledge it because in the midst of all of these things happening there, I feel like there's at least always one person, and that would be the person that you're attempting to save that sees what goes on behind you attempting to save them. They just don't appreciate it, like I said, or acknowledge it when the time comes to defend the person who has been basically taking care of them in the situation. That's pretty much what I gather from it. Like
Well,
a lot of
you know
people
what,
don't like to
Pinto?
do
That
that.
is a better way of putting it. You're right. You're right. And I'm gonna tell you, I think I worded it that way. Thank you for that. I think I worded it that way because there are other elements to that. When people start to feel like or start to see that coddling is being taken from them,
Uh,
that's when you start to see the real pedigree of a person.
yeah, absolutely. That's pretty much what
So
it is. When you pull
now,
that rug from under their feet,
exactly.
the true them come out, and that's what I see from my perspective.
Exactly. And guess what? That's what ARP and Lawrence saw. Where ARP didn't know everything that was going on. Why? Oh yeah, I spoke to ARP. The beautiful thing about ARP, unless you got real beef with him, he's gonna always talk to you. But know that I know that he's gonna always talk to you. The same way I am with him is the same way he is with me. He ain't gonna come to me about every little thing, just as well as I wasn't coming to him about every little thing. Certain things I felt like if I'm gonna be a leader in this, I have to learn to deal with myself. He's even telling me right now, listen, okay, this and this and this and this is going on. I'm over here like, okay, do you see this? Maybe you need to go ahead and step in because they want you. ARP is like, I don't give a fuck. Hey, you are a boss in this, and I've been saying this. You and Lawrence are bosses. People gonna have to deal with that, and I don't give a fuck how nobody feel. Everybody know ARP gonna be on his own timing.
Right. I think
Nope.
that what comes
This is
along with
the. Oh,
that,
go ahead. Go
I think
ahead.
what
I'm
comes
sorry.
along with that is people do not they don't think about it like that. They only want what they want. And I mean, to an
Hmm.
extent I do understand it, like that's just human nature. If it's not in your corner in that moment, then people tend to take offense to that. And that's where I feel like the adulthood needs to come into place because everybody feels like everything should go their way when and how they want it to go their way, but it doesn't work like that. You cannot please everybody. And that's one thing that I definitely pride myself on, not giving a shit that I don't please everybody. In your position, in ARP's position, in Lawrence's position, you're not going to be able to please everybody. So it's always going to come about with situations like this or any because I got to hear part of the conversation between you and 6'8", and one of the things that he said that kind of struck a nerve with me was your name is a leader but you're not being a good leader. And I'm like, how in the hell can you say something to that extent, which is crazy to me when you were in the position that you were in? When you don't do your job in the way that it needs to be done, I don't really care where you're at. It can be sports, it can be business, it can be whatever you want to call it. You will be removed from your position. It is what it is. And it doesn't necessarily have to always do with you not doing your job. You can do some other shit to fuck your job up or your position up when it comes to whatever it is that you are involved with. So things like that, I don't forget, like certain bullet points. I don't necessarily forget. And that was one of the things. But I believe most people here, and even outside of RBE for real, understands the nature of your position. The only difference is, like you stated before, when you kind of joking back and forth with Spills, which it was definitely a whole lot of truth to that, is my shoes is way bigger than yours. So a lot of people don't see what you see and or how you see it. The way that you've guided certain people's careers to what it is, no matter whether there was a falling out or not, behind it. What I see is like you have to be able to follow in order to be able to lead. It doesn't matter who's the person who is in the lead. If you can see the goal, if you can see the bigger picture, then in my personal opinion, you should be able to follow that person. You don't necessarily have to appreciate the way that, you know, it's being delivered to you or whatever the case may be for what people feel like
Well,
it's
well,
or how it
Fizo,
should be done.
Fizo, Fizo. To sum that
Uh,
up, let me say this. To sum that up, is it my leadership or is it your ego?
a lot of it has to do with people's
All
ego.
right.
And I mean, if I'm being honest, like I've had to check my ego a multitude of times since being here because it's not something that I was used to. The difference between I would say me and them is that I'm able to do that
Mm-hmm.
because I do understand the nature of business. I understand the pecking order when it comes to, you know, what leadership is. Like we all have somebody we got to answer to, whether we like it or not. And I'm the biggest advocate for having a problem with authority. But I do understand, you know, the purpose and why it needs to be had.
Right.
Is what it is.
Go ahead, Peaches.
I feel like a lot of these niggas, they just did not know. Like, it's like they wanted you to hold their hand every step of the way. Like, they didn't know how to, even with you being a leader, you give us the tools that we need to apply them to ourselves and moving forward. Like it was things said about, oh, Wing doesn't answer her DMs. First of all, our group chats are meant
Mhm.
for any information that we may need, it would be put in there. Why do you need sidebar conversations? And even if it's something you may not want to discuss, it's over 60 of us. If every one of us sent her a damn DM every day, what you think that shit gonna look like?
Exactly.
Sometimes not only
Yeah,
do she
something
not
gonna
have
fall through the
time,
cracks. Fuck that.
but sometimes you don't even want to answer that shit right now. Like she's one person and she only human, and I've watched it time and time again. People complain about um her not being as accessible to them. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of them things that eventually she's gonna get around to you. You don't get special treatment and feel like she's supposed to respond to you like expeditiously and shit. Like
It's a fact.
this is
Well,
something that. Go ahead.
let me expound on that because the one thing that I even said in that when going back to 6A, going back to several people, going back to the intake, you have Lamika and you have EJ. If you can't get to me, you can get to them. Because nothing that you're asking is gonna be that important that they can't know about it unless it's certain things, and that's going to be a case by case basis. There are going to be certain things that are said and done that I actually have to answer. You know what I mean? I'm seeing the DMs, but again, it's actually more than 60 because it's 56 of the intake, a little more than that, and it's 19 of the bricks. So if everybody's trying to come ask me those questions, I'm putting together events, I'm putting together plays. Everybody knows over here, for the most part, I usually try to plan out the first 6 months,
She be
and
seeing
I'm
them
working
DMs. Niggas want special privileges.
that,
Niggas
and
want
they
special
do
treatment.
want
Niggas wanna.
special
That's what
treatment,
it is.
absolutely.
That's what it
So,
is.
but also the problem has been my accessibility, too much accessibility. ARP has told me that. You have to fall back. This is what you did. When I first started this, ARP was like, well, just let me know when you're ready to build a team. And I was like, no, no, no. I was gun ho. I don't need no team. I want to do this by myself because I don't want nobody feeling like this, and this, and this. And then it came down to, oh, hell no. I'm going to need a team for this. ARP started laughing. He was like, listen, you build your own team. That's that. I'm not telling you, I'm not bringing nobody in. You build your own team because you need to have people around you that you can trust. So he was like, my team understands they're not RBE in terms of they don't sit at the table with Lawrence, myself, and ARP. But he does acknowledge the fact that this is my team and they don't talk to him. They don't talk to Lawrence. Well, I mean, ARP and EJ do, but it took a while before ARP started really talking to EJ. Lawrence will talk to the team once he identifies, but even with Lawrence sits back and kind of watches how they move. Even with Mika handled the money. You feel me? So it's like Lawrence is like, okay, you trust her, let me see how she moved. So he was, basically paying attention to how she moved. He then began to grow that liking and like, okay, I see why you chose her. EJ does damn near everything. Everybody has a position here. Kwai and I appreciated the fact that he was already, when I felt like there were people who were not paying attention to us, along with the smaller outlets that I always fuck with, those are the people that I fuck with. So when he was really talking about the BRICS or whatnot, I appreciated that. He knew all of them. That was crazy to me because I don't know too many people who know all of them. You understand? Then he also wanted me to come back outside. And it was like, I'm doing too much. But I appreciated the fact that he respected what was being done over here. So even with that, it was like, hold on, this man got these different connections. That was the extension of what we were trying to do as ARP was falling back more, while I'm trying to reinvent the wheel, because I never just wait. I'm trying, it's every year we had to figure out something to put us back out there. You know what I mean? So it was like, damn, okay, I see the different things. He's telling me about conversations that are being had in regard to working with the BRICS. So it was like, all right, well, let me kind of see what's going on. The same way they threw me the alley oop, I threw him the alley oop, because now these extensions are putting us in league versus league situations. People running down on him. They're paying attention to the fact that, oh, he working close with Wayne and RBE. Yeah, let's see if we can do that. I'm not accessible to those people, but these are people that he already knew. So it was like, you know what? Nah, let me bring him over, and it's gonna be part of the team too. You know what I mean? So everybody plays a position in what we're doing over here. Where somebody may feel a certain way about different things, it was never not one time that somebody was not being heard. That was a whole fucking falsehood. Some heard more than others. That's the other problem. Some people felt like, well, these people are getting more attention than I'm getting. These are things that y'all wasn't hearing in the beginning, but this has always been the issue, especially with one individual. There was people behind it, and it's so crazy because while some people were all of a sudden are building these alliances, y'all wasn't even fucking with each other for real, whether it was on one side or the other. I know this. So it was